Good morning everyone. I am Ms. Podumani, Assistant Professor from CSE Department. Today's topic is email generation. So the email generation contains ISP, Internet Service Provider, then mail server, what are the uses of mail server, and what is the working method of email generation, and types of the email server, then email protocols. Three important email protocols are the SMTP, POP3 and IMAP. So these are the topics we are going to cover today. First topic is ISP. ISP means Internet Service Provider. It's a private organization that provides the services for accessing and using or participating in the Internet. Generally, the ISP is referred as the provider. The data may be transmitted using several technologies including dial-up connection, a DSL, digital subscriber line, and cable modem, wireless connection, or dedicated high-speed interconnects. So other services such as telephone and television services or personal websites or home pages may be provided as well. Today, ISPs are usually cable companies or mobile phone companies that offer the internet subscription in addition to the TV or mobile communication services. The alternative name for ISP is Internet Access Provider. The next topic is mail server. So as the name implies, the mail server is going to manage the email. That is shortly named as email server. So this is a server that handles and delivers the email over the network, usually over the internet. The mail server can receive the emails from the client computers and deliver them to other mail servers. So the operations are listed in the PPT. So first one is sending messages, email sending, then receiving messages, then reply the messages, forward a message, and send message to list of people. It may be more than one people or a group of people also, and you can able to attach a file with the help of the mail server. Attachment may be any type. Then save the same mail into a file format, and we can able to print our mails also. Then the email address specify the user identification and at symbol, then specify the domain name. Example, abc@gmail.com means .com provide the commercial organization, and Gmail is nothing but the domain name, and ABC is the username here. Email working method. So email working method based on the client server model. Client is a application based client, otherwise web based client. Both the types are supported in the email client. Then the server should contain a large storage capacity to list out the users and rules and regulation to communication, and capability to receive the mail, send the mail, and store all the emails and also attachments. And we are using two different protocols to handle the email. First one is the POP3 protocol, that is Post Office Protocol version 3, which is going to deal with the incoming mails, and we are using SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, to deal the outgoing mails. Generally, we are using TCP ports to email communication. In that, SMTP port number 25, the default port number 25 is used for the outgoing mails. Then POP3 protocol communicate with the help of the 110 port number. Then this is a small pictorial representation which provide the relation between the client and the email server. So different type of clients are attached with the POP3 server and also SMTP server. So POP3 server is going to handle the incoming mails, and SMTP server is going to responsible for the outgoing mails. So all the clients are going to communicate with the help of the internet. Then the ports used for the various requests. So depend upon the client request, we are using different port numbers. Mostly we are using TCP port numbers only. The email servers use the TCP port numbers 0 to 65,535 ports. So suppose the client send any file request means that will be handled with the FTP server, File Transfer Protocol server. So this is communicate with the help of the port number 21. Then 25, port number 25 is allocated for the SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer protocol, and the port number 80 is allotted for the HTTP defaultly hypertext transfer protocol, which is a request response protocol, which is going to handle all the different type of user requests and provide the hypermedia documents for communication. And then 110 port number is allotted for POP3 post office protocol, which is going to handle the incoming mails. And if you have any financial transaction or bank transaction or payment process, that time we are preferring the secure HTTP, that is HTTPS protocol. So that is allotted for port number 443. Then the web server will send the proper response with the help of the replies to the client. So these protocols are managed by the web server. If there is any file is needed for the client, means it will contact with the port number and it will contact the FTP server. Then from the FTP server, the web server is going to collect the data and send the particular file to the client and send the reply to the client. Next one is email transmission. So in the first topic is how does an email get transmitted from client to client. So we are going to use the port number 25 to outgoing messages. So the client makes a connection to its local email server. It should contact with the help of the port number 25. Then the client passes the email. So email means it should contain the sender address, receiver address, and also message for the particular receiver. So what happened in the server side means the server is going to receive the email and check whether the domain is correct or not. Suppose if you are providing any invalid domain, means automatically error message will be sent to the client as a response. Then if the domain is correct, then it pass the information to the local POP3, that is post office protocol. So the post office protocol is going to check the DNS, domain name server. So with the help of the domain name server, that particular domain name will be converted as the IP address. For example, I am sending a mail to abc@gmail.com, means the DNS will convert the Gmail to IP address of the Gmail. Then they are exchange the mail here. Then the information will be passed to the SMTP server again. The next topic, how email server send an attachment. So if you are going to send any attachment with the email, means we need to create the MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extension. Then we are going to add the sender and receiver address to the MIME. Then add the subject, that is mail title, to the MIME. Then attach the body of the message in the MIME again. Then we are going to open the file as a binary mode, which is going to be attached with the mail. Then the MIME will read the byte stream and encode the attachment using the base64 encoding scheme. Then add a header for the attachments. Then start the SMTP session with the valid port number with the proper security features. Then finally log into the system, send the mail and exit from the system. Then types of the email server. So there are three different type of email server is available. First one is the POP3 server. Otherwise we are using IMAP server for handling the incoming mails. Then next one is the SMTP server, which is going to handle the outgoing mails. So these email servers are working with a different operating system. It may be Windows or Linux or Apple system. So first one is email client. So email client is nothing but who is going to send the message. That system is known as the email client. So the list of messages with headers are specified here. So the headers contains a subject, what is the date of the email sent, and what is the time, and what is the size of the email. Then select the messages of the header and read the contents. And finally create the new messages and add the recipient mail ID and subject to the particular recipient, and mail content will be added in the create new messages. Then if you want to attach any file, means you can attach with the help of the MIME. Example email clients are MS Outlook, Outlook Express, Hotmail, Yahoo, Gmail, etc. Then messaging. Messaging is a term which explains exchanging the messages. So one sender can send the message to more than one recipients. Mostly we are using store and forward technique only. So the email will be stored in a particular system and it will be forwarded from the system to another system. Then we can able to broadcast the messages. So at the time we can send the message to a particular group of participants also. Then messaging model. So messaging model contains the three different topics. First one is the building blocks. In building blocks, three different agents are available for this interface, transfer and delivery work. So the first agent is a user agent. It will be act like a interface between the message transfer agent and also user. Then message transfer agent, which is going to transfer the message to the next agent. Then message delivery agent is going to deliver the message to the proper recipient. Then message stores. So this is used between the user agent and then message transfer agent. Suppose the message transfer agent is busy, means it will store the message from the user agent. Then gateways. This is used between the two different type of servers to communicate one network to another one network. Then this is a small pictorial representation about the messaging model. So this is a sender and this one is a receiver. So the sender, user at a terminal is named as a sender here. So sender going to contact the user agent. Then the user agent send the mails in the queue. It maintain a queue. Then the client receive the MTA message transfer agent. Then it will provide the TCP connection. So TCP connection means we know that TCP IP protocol provides the connection oriented service. Connection oriented service means we need to establish the connection first from sender to receiver. Then the packets will be transmitted with the help of the virtual connection. And the TCP IP offers a sequence number and it supports the acknowledgement system only. So with the help of the acknowledgement system, we can easily identify if there is any missed packets are available or not. And with the help of the sequence number, it is easy to ordering the packets and reordering the packets in the receiver side. Generally, we are using the TCP port number 25 here. Then in the server side, the MTA message transfer agent is going to get the MTA from the client side. Then it will send the message to the user mailbox. Then it will be received with the help of the user agent of the receiver, that user at the terminal. Email messaging protocols. So the first protocol is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is a set of communication guidelines that allow the software to transmit an electronic mail over the internet is called Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It's a program used for sending messages to other computer users based on the email addresses. So it provides a mail exchange between the user on the same or different computers, and also it supports we can able to send a single message to more than one participant, and we can able to send the text message or voice message, video, and also graphics messages. We can attach with the help of the MIME. Then what is the main purpose of the SMTP means? It is provide the set of communication rules between the servers. So the servers have a way of identifying themselves and announcing what kind of communication they are trying to perform. They also have a way of handling the errors such as incorrect email address. For example, if you are provide any recipient addresses wrong, means automatically the receiving server reply with an error message in the form of a response. SMTP types. So mostly we are using two types here. First one is the end-to-end method. Second one is the store and forward method. So the end-to-end model is used to communicate between the different organization, whereas the store and forward method is used to come within the organization. We are using this method. The SMTP client means who wants to send the mail will contact the destination host SMTP directly in order to send the mail to the destination. So the SMTP server will keep the mail to itself until it is successfully copied to the receiver's SMTP. The client SMTP is the one which initiates the session. Let us call it as a client SMTP. And server SMTP is the one which is responding to the session requests. So we will call like that receiver SMTP. So the client SMTP will start the session and receiver SMTP will respond to the request. And this is a small pictorial representation how the SMTP provide the connection between the user A and the user B. So the user A uses the user agent to transfer our message, and it will be use the message transfer agent in the client side. Then the message will be moved to the internet, and with the help of the SMTP relays we are transfer our message to server message transfer agent, and with the help of the user agent of the user B he'll receive the message and read the message. So the relaying system without TCP IP protocol can also be used to send the email to the users, and this is achieved by the use of the mail gateway. The mail gateway is a relay MTA that can be used to receive an email. Then this is the working principles of SMTP. So there are 5 steps are there. First one is the composition of the mail. Second one is the submission of the mail. Then third one, delivery of the mail. Then fourth one, receipt and processing of mail. Then fifth one, access and retrieval of mail. So the first step is we are going to compose a mail. So how we are composing a mail means a user sends an email by composing an electronic mail message using a mail user agent, shortly known as MUA. Then the mail user agent, this is a program which is going to send and receive the mail at the user side. Then the message contains 2 parts generally. First one is the body part, second one is the header part. So body part is the main part of the message, while the header include the information about the sender and the recipient address. So the header also includes the descriptive information about the particular message. It should contain the subject of the message also. In this case, the message body is like a letter and the header is like an envelope that contains the recipient address. Then submission of mail. So after composing an email, the mail client then submits the completed email to the SMTP server by using SMTP and the port number 25. Working of SMTP, the second step is delivery of mail. So email addresses contains 2 parts. First one is the username of the recipient and the domain name. For example, if you are taking ram@gmail.com means ram is a username and gmail.com is a domain name here. Suppose if the username of the recipient email address is different from the sender's domain name, then the message submission agent, MSA represent the message submission agent, will send the mail to the message transfer agent. To relay the email, the mail transfer agent will find the target domain and it checks the MS records from the domain name system to obtain the target domain. For example, I am having the email ID like that abc@yahoo.com. Then I want to send the message to email to ram@gmail.com means the domain names are different. One is a Yahoo, another one is a Gmail. So automatically we need the help of the MSA, message submission agent, which is send the information to the MTA. Then MTA will check there are different type of domains are used. Will check that. Then it will find the target domain. So what is the IP address of the gmail.com? That will be identified with the help of the domain name systems MS record, mail exchanging record. So the record contains the list of domains and the list of IP address of the various domains supported by the domain name system. Then the MS records contains the domain name and the IP address of the recipient's domain. Once the record is located, the MTA connects to the exchange server to relay the message. Receipt and working processing of the mail. So once the incoming message is received, the exchange server delivers it to the incoming server. That is nothing but our mail delivery agent, which store the email and it will wait for the user to retrieve it. So when you want, at that time you can open your email box and you can receive the message from the mail delivery agent. And access and retrieval of mail. So the stored email in the MDA can be retrieved by using the MUA, that is mail user agent. So the MUA can be accessed by using the login and password. So we know that, right? Suppose if I want to access my mailbox, means automatically I should log into the particular domain. It may be Gmail or it may be Yahoo. So I need to provide my username and also password. Afterwards, the mailbox will be open. Afterwards, the list of mails are available in the inbox. Then I'm going to access, and then I'll read the mail or reply to the mail. Any operation I want, I can do with the mail. So this is the access and retrieval of mail step. Then these are the simple commands used by the SMTP. First one is the hello command, which is going to initiate the particular operation, that is it identifying the particular server. For that purpose we are using this hello command. And same EHLO command, this is the alternative command to start the conversation, but we are using in the extended SMTP protocol, this command was used. Then mail from is nothing but when you are pressing the compose button, automatically a window will be open. In that window we have the fields like that, from field and to field, and the letter field, the text box will be available, text area will be available to type our mail, right? What is the content of the mail, that will be, what is your message, that will be typed in that. So the mail from represent the from field of your compose box. So with this SMTP command, the operation begins. The sender states the source email address in the from field and actually start the email transfer. Same thing receipt to, so it will identify the recipient email ID. Then size, this is specified by the specified as the size of the particular mail in terms of bytes we are using. And it can also be used to report the maximum size of the message to be accepted by the server. Then data, with the data command, the email content begins to be transferred. It is generally followed by the reply code number 354 given by the server and giving the permission to start the actual transmission. Then BRFI indicate the verify command, whether the particular email address is correct or not, whether the particular username already exists or not, that will be identified by the server with the help of the verify command. Then AUTH, that is authentication command. With the help of this command, the client can authenticate itself to the server, giving its username and then password. It's another layer of the security to guarantee the proper transmission. Then RST, that is reset command. So it communicates the server that the outgoing email transmission is going to be terminated. Though the SMTP conversation won't be closed, we are going to close the particular communication. That will be represented with the help of the RST. Then EXPN, this command asks for a confirmation about the identification of a mailing list. Then help command, if you need any help, means we can use this. It's a client request for some information that can be useful for a successful transfer of the email. Then quick command is used to terminate the SMTP conversation. Then the next protocol is POP3 protocol. This is post office protocol. So the transmission of mail from the sender to the sender's mail server, then to the receiver's mail server is done with the help of the SMTP protocol. So which is handling the outgoing mails. At the receiver mail server, the POP or IMAP, Internet Mail Accessing Protocol, takes the data and transmit to the actual user. So SMTP is the push protocol which push the information, message to the message from the client to server, and POP is the pull protocol when the mail is transferred from the recipient mail server to the client, which means that the client is pulling the mail from the server. Then ST. The first version of the post office protocol was introduced at the year of 1985 by the Internet Engineering Task Force group. Then the developers developed a simple and effective email protocol known as the POP3 protocol, version number 3 protocol, which is used for retrieving the email from the server. This provides the facility for accessing the mails offline rather than accessing the mailbox offline. Working principles of POP. To establish a connection between the POP3 server and the POP3 client, the POP3 server asks for the username to the POP3 client. Then the client is going to send the username to the server. Then the server send the acknowledgement as OK message. Then again the server asks the password from the POP3 client. Suppose the password is correct means then the POP3 server send the OK message as a response message. Then only the connection gets established. After establishment of the connection, the client can see the list of mails on the POP3 mail server. In the list of mails, the users will get the email numbers and sizes from the server. Out of this list, the user can start the retrieval of mail also. So once the email of the client retrieves all the emails from the server, all the emails from the servers are deleted. So this is a small pictorial representation about the working principles of POP3. So POP3 Post Office Protocol version number 3. So left side we have the POP3 server and right side we have the POP3 client. So POP3 client going to send the username to the POP3 server. Whether the username is correct or not, that will be verified by the POP3 server and it will send the accepted message as a OK message. Then the POP3 client send the password to the POP3 server. Then the server check whether the password is correct or not. Then it will send the message as acknowledges as the OK message. Afterwards, connection is established between the client and server here. Then the client lists the emails here. Then email numbers and sizes are listed in the POP3 client. Then finally, the POP3 client is going to retrieve the data from the server. Then the server will provide email 1 to email n here. Then the next protocol is IMAP. IMAP stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. It is an application layer protocol. So in OSI model we have 7 layers. In TCP model we have 4 layers. In each and every model we have the final layer as the application layer. This layer used to communicate between the different web application. So IMAP is an application layer protocol which is used to receive the emails from the mail server. The most commonly used protocols like POP3 for retrieving the emails. So it also follows the client-server model. So client-server model means we know that client is going to send the request to the server. Server will process the request and then send the response to the particular client. Suppose the server needs some extra information means it will ask the web server or it will get the data from the database server. It will retrieve the data from the database server. It will get the information from the application server or number of servers are there. Suppose if the client want any files means it will need the help of the file transfer server also, FTP server also. So what is the work of the server means which is going to process the particular request and what is the needed information by the client that will be submitted by the server. So in IMAP also we are following the client server model. So one side we have the IMAP client, another one side we have the IMAP server. So both the processes are running on a separate computers and both the computers are connected with the help of the network. Then the IMAP protocol resides on the TCP/IP transport layer, which means that it implicitly uses the reliability of the protocol. So we know that TCP/IP protocol is the connection-oriented protocol. After connection establishment only, we can able to send the messages with the help of the TCP/IP. So when I use a TCP/IP provide the virtual connection between the sender and receiver first. Afterwards, the packets will be follow the same path and then they reach the receiver side. If there is any messages are missed or any packets are missed, that will be easily identified by using the acknowledgements. So for each and every packet, the receiver should send the acknowledgement to the client. So missed packets are easily identified here, and in TCP/IP we are using the sequence number also. So with the help of the sequence number we can easily order the packets, and in the receiver side we can easily reordering the packets also. So automatically IMAP also provide the same services because we are residing on the TCP/IP transport layer only. Then once the TCP connection is established between the IMAP client and IMAP server, the IMAP server listens to the port number 143 by default. But the port number can also be changed. Why it is means we are using two different port numbers. First port number is 143, second port number is 993. So the port number 143 is a non-encrypted IMAP port, and 993 is an encrypted port. Suppose you need any secure transaction, means that time you can use the port number 993. So the IMAP 4 protocol functions only when the IMAP 4 version must reside on the server where the user mailboxes are located. In the case of POP3, it does not necessarily require the same physical server that provides the SMTP services. So, therefore, in the case of the IMAP protocol, the mailbox must be accessible to both SMTP for incoming mails and IMAP for retrieval and modification. The IMAP uses a transmission control protocol for communication, which ensure the delivery of data and also received in the proper order with the help of the sequence number. Thank you.